This is the Truman Elementary Case Study, AEP 858 Data Analysis and Assessment. I am Dana Jo Unruh. Category 1, Problem Identification and Analysis. Our school is a PK to 8. We're the largest in the district. We are located in a suburban area outside of a Midwest city. Our average student population is between 500 to 700 students. We have 3 classrooms of each grade, and we have 7th and 8th that are split into teams. 15% of our student body qualifies for free and reduced lunches. 5% of our student body speaks primarily another language other than English, and we, on our achievement tests, indicated that our reading is not as good as our math score. We've lost ground on cohorts moving through the school as well as ground grade to grade. I'm the principal here. I've been here for 2 years. I've asked a reading specialist to evaluate so we can compare information and use this data on an upcoming grant that I feel that will help with buying a new curriculum as well as professional developments to allow us to address the issues we have right now properly. Our parent-teacher organization is led by Ms. Sarkozy. She sent us a letter outlining the PTO's concerns for our reading curriculum as well as lack of phonics and spelling programs in our school and our lack of differentiation taking place in our classroom. The grant opportunity that has been brought to my attention is a grant that is available for any school that houses K through 4. There will be 10 to 15 grants averaging between $200,000 and $250,000 available, and the grant application is due by June the 1st. The reading specialist or supervisor confirms my findings when she said that our program was not being used with fidelity, that our classrooms were not differentiating, and there was little to no small group instruction taking place. We were blanket teaching. Not enough time was being dedicated to a reading block, as well as what time we did have was being broken up in between other classes. There was no spelling or phonics curriculum, as well as we do not align with state standards or current teaching methods do not align with teaching, research-proven teaching methods. After reviewing this case, I found 4 outstanding problems. We have either an outdated or no curriculum at all. We are not teaching to standards, as well as we do not have research-based teaching methods. There is not enough time dedicated for proper instruction, as well as we are ill-equipped and ill-trained to produce the results we need. So my plan of action is, number 1, have a mandatory staff meeting in which we will inform the staff of the concerns that have been brought to light, as well as the findings of both evaluations. We will open the table to discussion and then brainstorm possible solutions. Once brainstorming possible solutions, hopefully we will find and have some teacher buy-in, as well as notify them of my actual proposed plan of action, and I will hand them a hard copy. That way they know the steps we will be taking. I will research, locate, and schedule professional development after I perform formal evaluations. I will perform these formal evaluations one-on-one. That way no teacher feels left out. I will focus on reading instruction, but keep my eyes open for possible areas of need like behavior management. I will focus when I'm evaluating non-reading staff. I will look for strategies or methods that they may use to connect the material with our students that may be able to support other staff members, as well as I will go over and discuss post-evals, next steps, proposed trainings, as well as follow-up observations one-on-one with these teachers. Then I would research, locate, and schedule professional developments after the evaluation process was complete. I would locate specific trainings either for our entire school or individual teachers' needs. I would, at some point, contact a proposed curriculum specialist or representative to see if we could have some form of a implementation training for our teachers, as well as get a hold of BOCES to see if they can come in and do some mini trainings to save us some funds, as well as get the ball rolling on our professional developments. I would call the district to secure funding for these trainings, and if no funding was available, I would include this information and data in our grant proposal. And then I would, last but not least, locate professional development for myself, as I'm the one who dropped the ball on this. I would research, locate, and begin the selection process for new curriculums that would align at least K through 4. I would again contact my district office and see if we had the funding to secure new curriculum. If not, I would collect the data and include this in our grant proposal. I would also talk to area schools to see what they are doing, what is successful, and how they like it. I would also contact a curriculum specialist for possible suggestions on curriculums. I would research curriculums to see if those curriculums that have been suggested would fit our school's needs and or school vision. Then I would schedule meetings. So one would be for staff with curriculum representatives to get staff input and hopefully staff buy-in. The next would be a parent meeting to discuss possible curriculums, see which one they're leaning towards so we can get, again, parent input, community input. The last meeting would be just before we made the final selection to see if there was any further final thoughts or concerns before the final approval from the board. I would also create or rewrite a new master schedule that would include at least a 90-minute continuous block of reading instruction. I would align this time with their intervention, inclusion, and special education teachers for the same subject. That way they were being supported in the needed area at the needed time. I would also make sure we had enough time for our spelling, language arts, and a sustainable math block. That I would make sure not to forget about our special classes like music, PE, computers, and also make sure that we have enough. We've met the minimum requirements for exercise time for our state standards. I would create new building policy on lesson plan requirements. I would have my teachers turn in their lesson plans and be reviewed no later than Tuesday before the lessons were going to be taught. I would make sure that these lesson plans are aligned with state standards. And then after this, they would be sent to not only me, but the inclusionist, interventionist, special teachers, as well as special ed teachers, so that they can work with and support these lessons in their class as well. I would schedule and plan for observations, shadowing, and mentoring opportunities. These are incredibly important as they are, in my opinion, a cheap way and a really effective way to get some professional development and also staff support in your school. I would then schedule meetings with the PTO about our grant. I would introduce this opportunity and really bring to light the fact that this funding could help really solve our existing issues that they have told us about. I would ask them if they would like to take lead in writing this grant and then locate any staff, students, anything like that they think they need to help support on the subcommittee. I would begin more drop-ins and informal evaluations and observations to ensure new procedures, materials, methods, they're being adhered to. I would create a schedule for myself to ensure that each teacher would get more visits with timely and usable feedback. I would also stick to the schedule to make sure that the teachers were used to me in their room and it wasn't such a high anxiety situation, and then I would get a more authentic representation of their teaching skills. Last but certainly not least, I would then create an impact team that would translate all of our data into usable and applicable information for our teachers and staff. Resolving the issue. The first way I would resolve the issue after I've gone over all that is we will retrain our staff. And I would go through these 5 processes to make sure that the staff is teaching correctly. Then I would rewrite our master schedule and ensure that in our master schedule we included 90 continuous minutes of reading instruction at a minimum, if not 120 to 210, depending on instructional needs as defined by their assessment results. I would purchase new curriculum, obviously, and make sure that those aligned and those systems aligned and focused with our assessments and instructions and curriculums, make sure they helped promote the academic success for our students. I would evaluate staff and the instruction to make sure I could deliver actionable feedback and make sure that they are research-anchored systems and evaluate to support the development of my teachers and staff and their knowledge base and skills, not just as a gotcha. So what am I thinking right now? I'm thinking as a principal, why did this take so long for the PTO? Why did I have to wait for the PTO to bring this to my attention? I should have caught this in the first place. The second thing I was thinking was, will this drastic change in instruction really cost me my teachers? And the last question that was really plaguing my mind was, how has my poor administration affected the students, and how will it continue to affect them through their academic careers? How was I feeling? First, I was confused. How do you miss this? This is not something that is easily missed. Then I became disappointed in my teachers because they should have caught it if I missed it. Then I became angry because nobody took an active role. And last but not least, I was regretful that the people that were ultimately hurt by this were my students. How do I feel, or what do I value? I apologize. I value both my staff's, my staff, both certified and non. I value my students, of course, and I value the PTO for coming to me and giving me a chance to correct this matter. Further concerns I also have. Will my staff feel attacked rather than part of the solution? Will parents be overcritical of us now? How will the public's perception affect our school? And if we can secure this grant to initially fund change in our district, can our district sustain the changes with our current budget? Standard 8 reflection. As the building leader, administrator, do I promote the success of all students by acting as an agent for continuous improvement to promote each student's academic success and well-being by engaging families and communities in meaningful, reciprocal, and mutually beneficial ways? This reflection was about engaging the community in continuous improvement and reciprocal and beneficial ways. On this one, I did listen to the PTO's concern and I acted on them. I also involved parents and communities in our curriculum choices, as well as incorporated the PTO, parent, community, teachers, and students in the possibility of a proposal for the grant. This reflection was focused on the data. Did I use it to speak to the community about the instructional concerns? I looked at the deficits and the test scores, and I actually validated the public's concerns. I listened to the PTO and acted on them, the concerns from the PTO, and acted on them. I used the demographic and academic data to hopefully secure the grant funding, as well as I used the data to inspire teachers to further their teaching skills and knowledge base. On this reflection, I was to look at my knowledge of policies, laws, and regulations that govern the school to influence and bring about positive change. I actually did know this stuff, but I went ahead and researched so I could make sure I was correct on this. But I did research the correct amount of best practices for reading block time. I also went in and researched the basis for reading strategies, the best reading strategies you could have, as well as school policies that may align each lesson with the state standards. So by me being flexible and able to do these things, I really do feel like that we would be able to bring about some positive change. This last one was, have I established an ongoing dialogue with decision makers outside of our school? Well, I included parents and community in the curriculum decision, the whole process. I included the PTO in all aspects of securing the grant, as well as listening to their concerns and validating them. I also shared progress with the community at large concerning this issue. These are my references, and thank you.